What's happening, everyone? Welcome back. This is Grassline Garage and Project Integra. We're on episode number 4, and this is when we start really getting down into fixing what is wrong with this car. And there is quite a bit wrong with this car. We found out that the transmission has all but third gear, and it's not like a synchro issue, like that the gear just does not exist. Second gear. No third. I'm sure that once I crack open the case, I'm going to find bits of it at the bottom of the transmission or stuck to a magnet. So the transmission's got to come out, which means I might as well take the engine out. And the other main issue that we had during the test drive was when we tried to go for a cruise, we had what I thought was just the front brakes locking up and preventing me from actually driving the car. However, that's not the case. I found out today while I was unloading it here at the workshop off the trailer that all 4 of the calipers are locked up. So what would cause that? Well, it's residual pressure built up that's not being alleviated. So I talked to my buddy Aaron, Midwestern Aaron Garage, and he told me that there's a good chance that maybe oil had found its way into the system and contaminated all the rubber seals, causing them to swell up. The symptoms pretty much dictate that that is probably and likely what happened. With that said, that means everything that is in the braking system that has a rubber seal needs to get removed and replaced. So I was stuck at a crossroad. What do I do? Do I try to just see if that's actually the issue and replace calipers and risk sacrificing, 4 more calipers and having those go bad too? That's not really the call. So I made the executive decision. I'm gonna gut the entire braking system, and while I'm doing it, I might as well pull the engine and get that ready for the transmission that Aaron is currently building right now. And then after all that, I mean, if I'm going this far, I might as well paint the engine bay, right? So what was gonna be maybe a couple days worth of work is now probably gonna be a couple weeks. I have some work coming up too, so that's gonna kind of throw a little bit of wrench in there. I'm hoping that I'll have the car done at the beginning of October for Rev Match's event at Black Hawk Farms, so I could take it as is. And then I have also upgrades that I purchased for the car that I kind of want to hold off after a baseline test and getting this car running decently. So we'll see how this plays out. However, it looks like late October might be the last event I'm going to be able to make this year locally, and that's at Gingerman, and that's also a Rev Match event. I really hope that I can make these events because I'd like to get this car out and tested to see, just what it's capable of. I've never driven anything other than the B18 powered cars, and this is a B20 VTEC. What's a good one, we'll find out, but we'll see how that goes. That's our to-do list mostly for this week. It's going to be removing engine and trans, taking care of the brake system, which means running all new hard lines, just replacing everything. Suspension, wheels, and tires, I'm going to get as much of this done as I possibly can, but wheel bearings are a must, tie rods are a must. Ball joints could probably make do, but since I'm going to be doing wheel bearings, I might as well do ball joints as well. I'm going to need to get an alignment. I'll probably have Aaron do the alignment on that if time allows. Otherwise, I'll just throw a slapdash alignment on here. It'll be close, but it won't be perfect. I need to find tires. Electrical, if we have time. Basically, getting the headlights to work, getting directionals to work. The O2 sensor, that'll be easy. I can, easily do that one. Side markers, I got to order those from JDM Land. And yeah, that's our list right now. I'm gonna get the car up in the air and we're gonna start getting to work. Just getting all kinds of messy here. That is some dirty oil, but nothing sticking to the magnet. So that's a plus. Get a rag while that's draining. The 3/8 ratchet. I'm gonna need probably sorry guys, I'm kind of bouncing between boxes. I believe these are a 17 if I'm not mistaken. Oh, the drain isn't a 17, it's the fill plug is a 17. So I just need a 3/8 ratchet. Get my bucket for coolant. It's getting a little late. I started this stuff a little late because it was absolutely hot out today, 84 degrees, and as you guys see, I'm quite a sweaty guy. So I kind of want to make sure that I have a nice cool night to work on this stuff. Said let there be light, and it was so. And this whole underside of this car is just covered in oil. I mean, it helps with the rust and keeping it off the car, but realistically, I might have to take this car to my buddy Don and see what it costs to have him do the dry ice blasting. So I did speak to him. He might help us out with that in the channel, but we'll see where that goes. Oil's drained enough. Tightened up. Move this over to the trans. Watch this. This is gonna be quite chunky. And I'm gonna get an extension. Sit, boo boo, sit. Well, that fluid actually isn't too bad. I was expecting chunks. Either way, it's got to get drained. This isn't an LSD transmission, so as soon as I pull the axles, they're going to start dripping out the side seals. So we'll get this fluid changed out. I really wanted to put like a helical LSD in this because all my other car transmissions have plate style LSDs. If you're not familiar, plate styles are like just another level of aggression on acceleration compared to like a helical style, which is more linear. Less maintenance required on a helical, which is gear driven, and you usually just run normal Honda MTF. However, you get into clutch styles, they have friction plates and clutch packs inside, and they usually have to have like a friction modifier added to it. So we usually end up running like Motul FF competition in those transmissions, and that'll likely be what I run in the transmission that'll go in this to replace this 99 Civic SI trans. It's a S4C, so it's got the 4.4. I don't know exactly what's all been done to it. I got some RTV on the outside, so it was either hit and leaked there or something else, but I'll either hold on to that bit for parts or I'll eventually replace this gear set in here and we'll get this back up and running. All right, that's good enough. And then once I get this in, we'll start removing the drive line, so that way we can get this engine and transmission out after I get the coolant going. All right, that's in. We can get this out of the way. Start lowering the car down a little bit. Well, you know, now that I think about it, I should probably take care of the shift linkage. So we'll get some sockets. Where's my drift punch? There's my drift. 12mm, 10. 14, gonna need a 17, that's a 19. Let my 17 go. There it is, 17. And because the whole underside of this car is covered in oil, I'm just gonna kind of minimize the leakage. So let's get the 10, or there's my 12. All right. Of course. I was actually kind of surprised to see a hybrid shifter in this car. Whether or not it's a legit hybrid shifter, I'm not too certain. However, there is a whole lot of side-to-side play. And this is a 13 now, isn't it? Yes, it is. I'm not going to be able to remove this completely, mainly because I still have the shift knob and everything attached up top, and that's, unlike my race car, really has a shift boot and center console in it, so I got to remove the shift knob to drop this completely down. Get in the habit of putting bolts back where it comes from. What are these? Oh, it's hybrid bushings. So we'll slip that off. So it's a solid bushing. I don't know what's causing so much side-to-side play in that shifter, but I'm definitely not a fan of it. Well, these are billet bushings. I didn't know that's what the hybrids came with. And now we'll get the so-called bitch pin. Drift. And then right. Where's my hammer? In the mighty words of Jeremy Clarkson, who will be sorely missed. That was actually one of the easiest bitch pins I have had in a while. So that is now out, and so I don't lose that, we'll stick that in a drawer. I don't really have anything to wrap it up and whatever. We'll stick it in the drawer. All right, let's see what else we got to do. Disconnect exhaust. That'll come out with the harness. We can slip this off. I'll slip that off when I have the transmission completely ready to be pulled. Lower this down and we'll get this draining coolant. Actually, you know what? I'll make life easy. No, I don't want to contaminate that. Normally I have a towel to set in there, but I don't have a towel to capture it so it doesn't go down the drain. Down we go. Get this hood opened up. All right, where's the petcock? Where is this? Oh, there it is. A little bit of a tip. If you want slow flow, ooh, squirter. I'd say normally if you want a slow flow, leave the radiator cap on and she will trickle out because of the suction force. Now if you want it to be fast, you pull that radiator cap off, but get ready for the gush because it definitely starts to come out real quick. So I'm gonna bring that bucket up and we're just gonna get this over with. I don't want to sit there and listen to a trickle all day. I thought I got mostly oil prints off of my headers, but you can kind of see where it got heated up, and you see a little bit of oil smudge, and it's from like fingerprints. I sprayed it down with brake clean, thinking I got it all off, but apparently I missed a few spots. So if you ever want to try to get this to look perfect without any smudges, what you got to do is basically before, if it's still new, wipe it down with alcohol after you touch it, or wear gloves the whole time, but either way, wipe it down with alcohol, install it, and then you can start it up and it'll give you that bronze and purplish finish without any of the oil smudges. Like this one here, these here. Now if you happen to make the mistake and you get the oil smudges and you want it to look pristine and you care about that, what you can do is take some steel wool and just kind of brush up the surface finish back to silver. It'll start polishing up silver again, and then you can just redo the process. But you don't want any oils on that if you want even coatings. And we're gonna get rid of this lovely radiator because I actually ended up picking up a new coil radiator for basically a trade. Some guy was building a drag EG and he said he wanted just a half core. I had a brand new half core in a box, so we traded. Now what we're gonna end up doing is taking the wheels off, get the impact ready. We're gonna start preparing to get these axles pulled off. Over to the other side. Oh, I love how light NKRPF ones are. All right. So while we have that up, let's get our 32mm socket. If you guys are wondering why this box is such a disorganized mess, this is the race box. It's what I take to the track. Problem is a lot of people borrow tools at the tracks and sometimes I just don't get them back. And when I do get them back, they're not put back where they're supposed to be. All right. That's fun. All right. That's not typical. That's gonna be a pleasure here. All right. Breaker bar. I don't have my big breaker bar here. That unfortunately is at my house, so we'll have to deal with this. And we might have to use the pipe just in case. Holy shit. I might actually need to go home and get my other breaker bar for this. Well, of course that wouldn't fit. Oh. All right. I normally don't get that much resistance on a damn axle spindle nut. This is 32. Hopefully this one won't be the same problem. Alright, that one's gone. So we're replacing axles too, because I'm not playing around with this. That is wild. I definitely don't want to take my torch out, but if it gets to that, it might get to that tomorrow. We'll just soak in some PB, see how that does. Alright, so as you guys saw, I had issues with that axle nut. We're letting that soak. Letting the other brake just kind of drain off. I'm going to end up getting this header disconnected on the bottom. I believe that these were 13. $12, 14, where's my 13? Where did I set my 13? There it is. And that's a 14, of course. Oh, it's bigger. Let's try 15. Shame that we just got this all back together and I gotta take it all back apart. So I'm going to try to keep the engine attached to the harness. I don't know if it's going to be possible with this car, but we'll see. With my race cars, I can easily do it, but this isn't my race car and this thing hasn't been in a part, and I don't know how long. So we'll end up leaving that dangle. That's freed up. I don't need to remove this. Oh, I will need to remove this O2 sensor from this. And of course that's up top and pinned. All right, so I'll disconnect that later. Oh, I gotta remove that anyways, that's bunk. Completely shot. I got a new sensor that can go on there. Of course, we routed it the most painful way possible. Alright. So now we can get these ball joints separated. Get a pair of pliers for those. Now, dikes will work. Bit of advice for these. Throw them right in the trash can. Those are definite wheel finders. If you want to lose a tire, leave these laying around in your driveway. Thankfully, I've never had that happen, and I don't plan on starting today. There we go. Right in the trash. Typically, I have a little scrap bin for this type of little stuff, but I don't care. Scrap is down. I just took a whole truckload, and I only managed to make 77 bucks. Other bit of advice for these, if they happen to be like completely seized in, what you can do is take your snips, or the special word. I'm sure that I'll get flagged for calling it what they are normally called. But take your snips, cut off the ends, and then you can just zip it right over the top with the socket on an impact. And I mean, if you're going to replace the part anyway, it doesn't really matter. Otherwise, you might have to take a drill bit. But honestly, if you're taking these off, then you might as well replace them, because more than likely they haven't been serviced in God knows how long. So this one is a little more mangled up, so I'm just going to snip it. That frees up that end, and free we out. Now where did that land? Looks like I will have to find that tomorrow. Alright, so time to get these suspension bolts done and dealt with. They're either 17s or 19s. Lowers are typically 19s. That seems a little loose, and that seems a little loose. 17? That's, wow, that is odd. That's a 17, that's a 17, and that's a 17. So this one's like an 18. All right, I'm just gonna use an impact. So we got 17 and like an 18. I wonder if this is standard. Yeah, it's pretty close. Let's get the impact. There we go. I don't think my father has metric impacts, so we're just gonna have to use a chromie out of my box. Thank you, Harbor Freight lifetime warranty. There's one. Alright, a little bit of advice. These things, they're kind of handy. Keep them. Never know when you need them. Alright, need a 17 wrench. Okay, that's aftermarket. And that's not even a normal Honda bolt or nut. What is that? Don't even know what that's for. Come on. Alright, suspension bolts. I will likely be replacing that with OEM. We got here 18. Is this going to work? Yep. All right. Sway bar. Ooh, those look really rough. Probably gonna have to, I don't know. I'm gonna have to cut that off probably. I might get that one off. Let's check this other side out. That one can come off. These are some odd sway bar links. I'm so used to the flat ones for both sides. All right, so either way, I mean, I can get these axles out. I just gotta separate the ball joints, but I still gotta get that axle freed up. So with that said, I'm gonna take a little breather and get back to this in a minute. Let this GoPro cool down. And we're back. We're gonna try round 2 with this spindle nut. If not, like I said, I gotta bring out my big breaker bar. Wow, that is extreme. I might have to actually take a torch to that. Fun. I'm not doing that today though. So what we're gonna do, get these calipers kind of hanging up, even though I gotta take them off, so I might as well just get a bucket to drain the brake fluid into. That's my ATF bucket. Those can go in there. That'll work. All right, so we'll lower this car down a little bit. We'll start getting this brake fluid. I mean, we got a good amount of air out. Alright, well, I'll recommend definitely putting gloves on. Brake fluid is quite corrosive for all you newbies. Definitely don't want to get it in your eyes. So from here on out, what we're going to end up doing is I'm just going to take that brake line off the backside. It's a damn shame I can't use it because that was a used part off one of my other race cars. I thought it would work out well and it bled out fine, but it wasn't meant to be. Here's my 12 mil. Let's get this lamp. We'll just hang you there. How about that? What the hell? That's 11. We'll let that drip nice and clean into the bucket. All right. And while you have brake fluid on you, definitely don't be touching on your fenders and paint, especially if you got nice fenders or paint. Like I said, it's corrosive. Eventually it will lift the paint right off the metal if you let it sit long enough. You know what, I'm just going to end up taking the whole caliper and bracket off itself together. 17. Let that one hang. Oh, nope, that one's coming out. Come. Pick that up and off. Let that drain out. It's all drained. Set that off to the side. Again, stick bolts back where they go. And once that's done dripping, we'll move over to the other side. Alright, well that's still kind of dripping. We're going to try some concussive force. See if we can get these threads to kind of loosen up. Give that a shot. Let's try this impact again. Still nothing. All right, one more crack with the breaker bar. It's gonna have to be like that. It's almost straight up. Saw that coming. All right. Yeah, so that's a no-go for today. We'll stick this up here for tomorrow. Stick this back in the drawer where it belongs. That absolutely sucks. Normally a cheetah bar will get you there, but apparently not today. All right. I'm gonna stick the petcock back in, raise this car up back, and start taking the brake calipers off. Set that back down. I'll let you guys know that if it's a new project car to you, it's going to be just like this. It's going to be just non-stop little stuff that's going to prevent you from getting far. And eventually, you'll have touched the car enough in so many persuasive ways that it'll start being the stuff that you fixed and not somebody that either neglected or fixed incorrectly. So with that said, we're gonna try to, as we like to say, unfuck the fuckery that happens in this thing. Which is all the reason my buddy AJ didn't want to take on this challenge, because I mean, this car has literally been non-stop problems since day one. So I get it. I mean, not everyone wants to torture themselves with this little stuff. Fortunately for you guys, I kind of enjoy doing it with friends, especially when they're, you know, cool with suffering with me. However, not everybody is typically down for that. And I get it, but I just find a good time with people chilling and going through mutual hardships. And I go out of my way to help out anybody that I can, as you know, as best I can whenever it's possible. Even if I'm busy at the track doing other stuff, I mean, I'll help somebody, you know, get their LFX's alternator off their RX-8 swap, because they decided to use a little bit of persuasiveness themselves to to remove, well, not to remove, but to hammer in a new bolt on that. That's a real story. I got a photo of that. Lessons were learned, we'll put it that way, from the owner of the car. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys the real way to do this. All right, so with this, I'll hop on the backlighting. I found the actual nut that I took off the other side. You're going to thread this on slightly, just that way it's covered up. You still got a gap. You take this, insert it between the ball joint, and again, end up getting that right about there. I'm going to move this to the other side so I have some clearance. Put that up right there. So I'm going to insert that in, tension this down. Now you can use your impact. I don't typically use the impact, but you could. I think it goes a little bit too hard on the impact for that. 3/8 ratchet, 19 mil socket, 3/4 also works, and there she goes. Pop goes the weasel. And then for the tie rod ones, you have this set at a different one. I don't care about these tie rods. I'm not salvaging them. So same thing. I'm going to back this up a little. If you're not trying to salvage it, you don't need to worry about that whole nut thing, because the nut thing is to keep the threads from getting distorted. And if you don't have a tap and die on hand, you basically screwed yourself for the weekend. Be careful without the nut though, because it also acts as a catch. But this tool is like 15 bucks at Harbor Freight, and it is a lifesaver. It makes this job go a lot quicker, a lot easier. Now granted, you can do it equally as good with a hammer, but I don't like banging up my knuckles and all my bits. There we go. And the last one, even though I still don't have that spindle nut out, we'll go from the front side here. Slot that in. Again, I'm not salvaging these ball joints. They're done. And if they don't seem to be going, another answer is take the hammer and just give it a little tap on the bottom side. And there she pops. All right, so now all I got to do is remove that tomorrow, and we should be solid. Everything else will be topside in the morning. I wanted to try to get the engine completely out, but I don't think it's going to happen today with that spindle nut being the way it is, and I really don't feel like firing up the torch. I'm hot enough as it is. So I think tomorrow's going to be finishing this up. Oh, that's cute. No castle nut, no. Good times. Sorry for being a sweaty mess, guys. It is middle of September and we're still in the 80s somehow in Wisconsin. So I spent most of the night getting where I need to be for tomorrow. I could still do some stuff up top, but realistically at this point it's not going to save me any time to do that stuff tomorrow or doing it tonight. It's a couple-minute job up top. The only thing I got to really do is take the coolant lines off and ground wires, take the battery out, thread the harness through the firewall for the engine harness, and right then and there you're ready to pull the engine. So there's not a whole lot left to do other than my fight with the spindle nut. With that spindle nut is going to be fun tomorrow. If, like I said, I got the torch behind me, I just don't feel like doing it tonight. So with that said, I will catch you guys tomorrow. And hopefully the episodes will get more exciting as time goes by. I'm trying to make this as exciting as possible, as well as being informative. I'm new to content creation, and I'm enjoying shooting this stuff. It's a struggle, as you guys can tell. I'm not very good at the speak part of it. But I hope you guys do enjoy this, and this Integra will be a pristine car, and hopefully faster than my race car back there, or possibly the K24 powered project car coming up after this car is finished. So with that said, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.